Whether you're new to Dead by Daylight, a well-seasoned survivor looking to broaden your horizons, or new to gaming as a whole, playing the killer role can be an extremely daunting and stressful experience. Many have tried a few matches of killer only to shy away due to the seemingly infinite list of things to keep track of and endless possibilities to consider. Fear not. These gripes end today with the release of the first episode of my Killer Essentials series. From now on, you will have me, variety killer extraordinaire Avsuma, dropping over 5,000 hours worth of raw talent and dominance into your personal DBD toolkit. Throughout the course of these videos, I will be your guardian angel and hold your hand as you learn everything you need to crush on the trial grounds. Since this is the first episode, I will need to assume a baseline level of understanding about the game. This consists of mechanics such as repairing generators, healing, opening exit gates, escaping, injuring, downing, hooking, kicking, vaulting, dropping pallets, and killing. If you are not familiar with any of these terms, the in-game tutorial provides adequate information. Now we can truly start the process of becoming expert killers. Eventually, all players are bound to find a killer that matches their playstyle through gameplay and experimentation. Lots of newer killers choose the Trapper after completing the tutorial, and as many of you that have seen my Trapper overview video will know, this is a huge mistake. Certain killers, however, do a better job of enforcing good gameplay practices for newer players. These include the Wraith and the Clown, which both have relatively simple abilities that do not stray far from the general killer playstyle, which we will discuss later in this video. The Wraith is a killer that is beautiful in his simplicity, giving the player strong effects that are not difficult to use. In essence, the Wraith has a bell that allows him to switch between cloaked and uncloaked forms. While cloaked, the killer moves significantly faster, has no tear radius, and is mostly invisible, but cannot attack survivors. Once the Wraith is able to find a survivor, the player can uncloak to become an M1 killer, which refers to the standard set of traits given to most killers. I will elaborate on the topic of an M1 killer in a later video. Much like the Wraith, the Clown is an M1 killer with a few extra twists. The Clown has a throwable power, being bottles of pink and yellow smoke that explode on impact and form a cloud of gas. The pink gas only affects the survivors, causing them to scream and move slower for a few seconds. These are typically seen as the Clown's main power, as throwing them directly at survivors in chase increases the rate at which the killer can catch up to the survivor. The other bottle in the Clown's arsenal is the yellow bottle, which provides a speed boost to any player, including survivors, that run through the smoke once it turns yellow. The yellow smoke is an alternative that is best used in tandem with the pink bottles, making them significantly harder to use properly. When you're starting out, the perks available to killer players are limited not only by quantity, but also quality. Most of the strongest perks are teachable from certain killers, requiring the player to level and prestige them before unlocking the perks on all killers. The character you choose does influence which perks you'll have, as the killer has access to their own teachable perks. Since all three of the Wraith's perks are terrible, you could run a build with the following 4 general perks: Sloppy Butcher, Jolt, Bitter Murmur, and Hex No One Escapes Death. With the Clown, you do have access to some decent teachable perks to make a build with. Up Goes the Weasel, Jolt, Sloppy Butcher, and Hex No One Escapes Death. This series will have a future installment with in-depth tips on forming a good build. But for those of you that already have some teachables unlocked, I suggest checking out perk recommendations from other content creators. When you first load into a match, you will usually want to find the furthest generator away from you and move towards it. Look around as you go, checking for scratch marks on walls or survivors moving around. Once you find a survivor, chase after them until you are able to knock them down and bring them to a hook. Whenever there is time that you have no players in sight to chase, continue patrolling your remaining generators, shown in red auras, until you find someone. This is rudimentary since there's a bunch of skill and thought involved in a good killer's decision making, but it will suffice for beginner killer players. As with the last section, this will be explained further in a later video, but I wanted to provide a basic explanation for you to get started. This video has been a brief introduction to the fundamentals of Killer to get you playing the game as fast as possible. In future installments of this series, I will be spending more time on more narrow topics. The goal of the Killer Essentials is to build the mindset and thought process of a 5,000-hour Killer player through a series of informational videos. If that sounds up your alley, subscribe to the channel to be notified of future uploads. Post your questions, comments, and concerns in the comments section below, and with that, class is dismissed.